How's it everyone, this is Lolcohol, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing a League Start Atlas passive tree to help you get off to a good start in Sentinel League. Now this guide primarily focuses on essences, Strongboxes, Expedition, and Blight. And the reason we're focusing on those is to get an early foothold in the league. This isn't a super uber endgame Atlas tree, but it's one that's designed to just get you some currency early on, and from there you can then go off and specialize. So in this little spreadsheet you see here, in this section I have the tree, and it's broken up into different leveling sections, so you'll know which points to allocate when and the objective of each section. So let's go through and have a look at each section. To start off, we are going to be rushing Commissioned Officer. This is a node that gives us +1 Kirak mission each day. Kirak mission means more maps, which means more map completion, which means more Atlas points. So this is why we're going straight for that. In addition, along the way, we are getting a higher chance for more map drops. This node, if you are unable to reach it on the first day, maybe you'll want to adjust this slightly. But this is an excellent node. Each day you'll be getting 2 Kirak passives. After that, at about 37 points, we're going to be grabbing essences, prolific essence. Essences are great early on, primarily because you can use them to upgrade your gear. It's essentially like a fancy chaos orb. You can also start gathering them up in bulk and then maybe later sell them. On top of that, we're grabbing Strongboxes, twice tempted. Each map will have a Strongbox, so we'll have more monsters in the map, and more monsters is more maps, so that's great. On top of that, we are also grabbing rare monster duplication, more rare monsters, more maps. The primary early focus of this is just to get maps, and then also imprisoned monsters in your map have 15% chance to have 3 additional essences, so more essences. And then up here, Strongboxes in your map are corrupted and at least rare. The reason we grab this is because you can get corrupted 6 links from corrupted Strongboxes early on, so that you can either sell those off or get your first 6 link that way. And then over here, operative Strongboxes, these drop scarabs. Scarabs are very nice. And then up here, the keynode, Stream of Consciousness. Your maps cannot be modified by fragments. Your maps have 50% more base chance to contain extra content. This is nice because early on, you're probably not going to be investing and juicing your maps, so this is free passive juice. Looking further on in the tree, we're further optimizing our essences, but now this is when we start investing points into Expedition and Blight. And over here, we have further chance to get more maps. We're not forgetting about that, but over here, chance to get Expedition encounters in your maps, and over here, chance to get Blight encounters in your maps, and also chance to get additional Blight encounters. And here, increased effect of modifiers on your blighted maps, and Blight chests have an 80% more chance to contain blighted maps. So as you do your blights in maps, you should be getting some blighted maps which you can then run for more currency, more essences, everything. Otherwise, you can save them and sell them. Expedition, very, very good. Tusion offers a lot of just raw currency. Gwenin can provide some very good bases, also some early uniques you might need. And of course, she can offer headhunters and magebloods if you get ridiculously lucky. I wouldn't rely on that, but Expedition is great. And then on top of that, we are blocking a whole lot of other content. We're blocking Delirium, Metamorph, and Smuggler's Caches and Ritual Altars. If you want to adjust these based on taste, you can. Maybe you want to keep things like Smuggler's Caches because it's a very quick thing that you stumble upon, you click it, maybe you get a good blueprint that you sell. However, I would rather just juice up the content that I do want to see, so I'm choosing to block all of this. And lastly, this is sort of the end version of the tree. There is one small little adjustment that we make, but over here, we're grabbing Distinguished Demolitionist, 35% increased explosive radius in your maps and number of explosives in your maps. This is great. If you grab this node, it pretty much lets you cover up the entire expedition in your map. You can also grab explosive placement distance. This will let you place your explosives even further. If you don't feel like you're covering the entire expedition, you can grab that. Over here, remnants of your maps have a 30% chance to have an additional suffix modifier. Additional suffix modifier gives you a high chance of getting better mods on your remnants, and expeditions in your maps have +2 remnants, so more remnanty goodness. Over here, we're further juicing our expedition. 50% increased quantity of expedition logbooks dropped by runic monsters in your maps. Logbooks are very good. Not only are they profitable to run, but if you don't want to run them, you can sell them, and they sell very well. So this is a great node to take. Over here, we're further amplifying our essences with amplified energies. Essences found in your maps are a higher tier. We're grabbing this one a little bit later on in the tree because essences are actually pretty scary, especially with the new Arch Nemesis mods. It might be a bit yikes early on to have mega juiced essences. Further down over here, we're doing further blocking. We're blocking Breach, we're blocking Abyss, and Legion. You can also choose to block Harvest if you like. I like Harvest, so I would like to see it in my map, so I'm not going to fully block it. This further gives us a higher chance to get expeditions and blights in our map. Now, like I said, this is an early tree. This is sort of week 1, maybe week 2 kind of tree. Later on, you can start using scarabs to force expedition encounters and blight encounters, and then you can drop all of these nodes, get a few more points. This is a tree that still has 30 points left on it, so there is a bit of flexibility, but the idea is just grab essences, strongboxes, blight, and expedition. And if you're not too familiar with that content, I will link a couple of videos in the description to help you better understand how to run that content. Finally, just another 10 points. If you do want to go all in on this, you can grab distilled fungus. This means that anointed items will drop from blight bosses in your maps. Then you can use an oil extractor to extract the oils. I think the way this works is you use the oil extractor on the item and it gives you one random oil that anoint is composed of. So there are some anoints that use golden oils. So if you use an oil extractor, you could get lucky and get a golden oil out of it. And over here, immune response, this essentially just makes the blight encounters go faster. I wouldn't grab this too early because it can be very scary. So click this node with caution, but if you're confident in your build, then you can grab it. Also, if you do want to grab Dance with Destruction or Wellspring of Creation, you can, but these are kind of to taste, shall I say. So just going over some of the pros and cons, you can read through this if you like, but going over the pros of Expedition, you can get a ton of raw currency with Tusion. Profit crafting with ROG is incredible if you know how to do it. You can make ridiculous money, especially early on with ROG. He gives you a lot of very generic equipment that sells very well. Things like boots with movement speed and resistances, and armor with spell suppression and shields and things. So if you know how to do that, you can check it out. I did do a video in Expedition League, which I'll link in the description, where I did some crafting with ROG. Should still be relevant. Also, Expedition, when you run logbooks, you're going to get ward bases. There's going to be a lot of people playing ward loop, and then there's always the potential to get that headhunter or mageblood or squire with Gwenin. Don't rely on it, but there is a potential. You can also just sell Danning currency and logbooks if you want to. If you don't actually want to run the logbooks, you can sell them for a good amount of money. As for cons, it can be quite rippy, especially with logbooks, and it does require some kind of experience. However, I have linked a video from Subtractum, which you can check out, which should help you learn how to maximize profit in your logbooks. As for essences, essences can be used to upgrade gear early and profit craft if you know how to profit craft and actually use that. They can also be sold in bulk. However, essences, because they are so commonly available to most players, they don't sell for as much as they once did. Another pro I should add is 3C Kirak map device mod. so you can have like 4 essences in a map. As for Strongboxes, pros, early 6th link from Corrupted Strongbox, raw currency, scarabs, and more maps. Cons, the 6% chance for an operative Strongbox is fairly low, so you're not going to be getting tons of scarabs from it, but it's still nice. There's also no Strongbox Kirak map mod on the map device this league, so if you really want to go all in on it, you might need to buy some ambush scarabs. As for Blight, tons of raw currency, oils, fragments, essences, and blighted maps can print currency, and there's a pair of gloves called Breath Stealer that you can get from running blighted maps that usually sell for a couple of X early on in League. And blighted maps are very, very easy to cheese. You can essentially stun lock all enemies, and I will link Zizka's video where he goes over that strategy. You don't need some giga super endgamey build to do it. There's kind of a combination of stun towers and things that you can use to just stun lock bosses. However, it can still be a bit rippy. You can get off screen by some of the mobs, and it does slow down your mapping. So overall, the pros and cons, you don't need a god tier build for this. It's very consistent profit, and you can either use the currency and logbooks and blighted maps and essences to make profit by running it and using it, or if you don't want to, you can just sell it off in bulk for more currency right off the bat. Also, it doesn't rely on rushing deep endgame content to get early profits. This is something that most beginner players should be able to handle fairly easily, and it also does not rapidly devalue within the first day or two. Most of the things you're going to be getting from this are probably going to go up in value a little bit, and so you don't have to worry, like if you're not a super fast player, you're not missing out if you only get to maps on like day 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Also, a side note, this is perfect for my Seismic Trapper build, so if you don't have a League starter yet, I'll link in the description. There's Seismic Trapper League starter, but then for transparency's sake, just so you don't feel like you're getting ripped off, there are some cons to this strategy. It doesn't have super high end returns compared to some more extreme endgame Atlas trees, but it is a League start tree just to start off the League. Also, you're probably going to have to respec a fair number of points once you do decide to go onto an endgame tree, but if you're doing this strategy, you should be able to afford that fairly easily. Also, this strategy completely ignores deep endgame bossing, and it doesn't juice influence. If you want to see more of like an endgame tree to start off the League, you can check out Grimro. I checked out his Atlas tree and it looked really nice, but I feel like it is a bit more complex. Also, this strategy is very stop-start, which you might find annoying. Once you get to a blight in a map, you have to stop, complete the blight, then continue. Same with the expedition. You find the expedition, you have to stop, do a bit of reading, and then place your things, and then do it. So if you are a super zoomy player, you just want to smash out maps, this might not be the strategy for you, because there's going to be quite a bit of stop-start, and each map might take a bit longer to complete. But that's going to be it for this video. Let me know in the comments, what are you going to start off with your Atlas tree? Also, I'm open to optimizations and suggestions for these trees. If you see something that you feel like could be slightly better, maybe slightly better pathing, do let me know in the comments. I am not above adjusting my own trees to make it better for everyone else. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you on Friday for Sentinel League. Take care. Bye.